over in Canada, you might have seen their great opposition leader Pierre Poilievre, who is one of the great rising stars of right-wing politics at the moment. He's had a potshot at the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, who took off on a taxpayer-funded holiday, mind you, over Christmas. How lucky for him. But he didn't go on a commercial airline. He didn't book his own airfares, did he? No. He took a private jet at the same time as he's telling us, you must stop flying because it's bad for the environment. Take a look.
I'd like to welcome the Prime Minister back from his $80,000 vacation, which he got for free. He said, like most Canadians, friends welcomed him for that vacation. He took two, not one, but two private jets paid for by the taxpayer, burning 100 tons of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. He wants to tax the heat and the food of Canadians. Did he pay the full carbon tax on each of the 100 tons of emissions that he put into the atmosphere as part of his $80,000 vacation?
I mean, you've got to love it. It's one thing to go on an $80,000 taxpayer-funded holiday, but again, we've got to keep pointing this stuff out because the left does nothing better than hypocrisy. And they love to, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. I mean, they were off at the World Economic Forum in Davos a week or two ago. They've all flown there on private jets. One rule for thee, another for me.
And speaking of the WEF, they were talking about all this technology, it's new, it's not up yet, but it's coming, whereby they'll be able to track our carbon footprint, the consumer's carbon footprint. What do you eat? Where do you travel? Who do you know? Factoring all these things so they can keep a track of what your footprint is. I love this idea. Imagine if we did the same to them, because flying around as they do, and they would say, oh, well, that's just part of the job, that's just part of the job. But notice who they're happy to completely screw over. We've got people in the UK, Canada as well, thank God our country's not half as freezing as these places, literally freezing inside their own homes, unable to afford heating, and those same politicians have the temerity to lecture their people while they live this lifestyle. I'd love to come up with, if only we could have a taxpayer-funded organisation that tracked their carbon footprint and just says, people of Australia, as long as you're under this, you're fine.
Well, that's exactly the point that the Canadian opposition leader made, is that Trudeau escaped Canada during winter, so he's enjoying himself in the sun somewhere. Meanwhile, people back at home, much less fortunate than the Prime Minister, are being hit with a tax. And then when he asked whether or not Trudeau had paid carbon credits for his $80,000 trip, we didn't show you the next part of that clip, but if you were to watch it, you'd find Trudeau didn't answer the question. Instead, he simply accused the opposition of not believing in climate change and being climate deniers.
That's the biggest sledge they've got.
Progressive left. They don't even answer the questions. They just duck and weave and turn it back on the people questioning them.
100%.